Before starting our talk show today, and some of you, I'm sure that all of you have already listed the questions of the things you want to know better from our main speaker for tonight. Let's listen the opening speech to start our agenda today by the Her Accelerator from Balia as the co-founder and CEO of Her Accelerator. For Balia, time and place are yours.
Thank you, Ajeng. Hello, everyone. We're still expecting some more people. We have 50 people registering for this event, but yeah, let's just move on for now. I'm going to introduce to you what is Her and why we are here tonight. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. So I see some girls and boys, women and men participants here. But yeah, tonight we want to introduce the Web3 space to especially more women in Indonesia. My name is Leah. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Her. It's the female first Web3 accelerator for Indonesia. I want to tell you a bit of my background. My background is technology. I was a web developer and I started my own startups, Web2 ways in the past. And since last year, I was really curious about Web3. And then I think 7 months ago, I get connected with Binici. And then at that time, she just about to start her Web3 startup, the game company. And that was my first touch basically with Web3. And then I started building my NFT projects and then start hang out with a lot of Web3 community in Bali. I'm from Bali. It was exciting, but then I quickly realized one thing, that Web3 world is a boys club. Basically, there's a lot of boys here, a lot of conversation about speculative things, you know, crypto, going to the moon. So those are the things that I heard a lot. But then if we are really look into Web3 space, Web3 is more than technology. Basically, it's a community-driven space where nurturing, storytelling, and collaboration is in the, you know, like very, very needed in this space. And those are the quality that a lot of female has. And this is my story. Like when I was a child, I get access to technology from my father, and the first time I created a website was when I was 13 years old. And at that time, I didn't create the website because I just want to create a website or I want to code. No, but I want to showcase my writing. I really love writing, and I want to showcase my poetry because there was no Instagram at that time. So I believe women get inspired differently than men when they come into this space, technology space. They're more inspired by the use cases of the technology, and that's exactly what we want to do with Her. So Her Accelerator meant to help women led Web3 projects focusing on impact. That we want to reduce the complexity for women to get into this space, and also help as a bridge to transition female founders from Web2 to Web3. And the journey, so we want to start with Her Academy, which is basically the education part of it. Like today, right now, we have our first meetup last month talking about DeFi, decentralized finance. And tonight we will talk about how exactly Web3 startup was built from zero to, you know, like today we invite Binici, the founder and CEO of a game company, Red Cat Multiverse. So we want to know how she built that. And that's our plan. And then next, we will have her launch is a accelerator for we are looking for 8 female founders that we can help to launch their first Web3 project. And then we also have her growth, which is this is for Web3 female founder who already have their own project, and then they need helps in terms of seed fundings or mentoring or marketing and everything else that can help them grow. The main activities for us, we will do workshops, one-on-one intensive mentoring, chat with inspiring Web3 founders that we know, and then eventually Emma Ask Me Anything, and then online demo day. We have 2 kind of models at her. One founders focus model, which is leadership, thought leadership, which is very important for in the Web3 space. And also we care about balance, also energy management, and as much as talking about data, we want the founders to also use their intuition. And we have Web3 modules, which is we will talk about the use cases of the blockchain technology, the tokenomics, community building, most important, marketing and launching. We will support the founders with technical, marketing, and funding. We plan to give grants and also follow-up seed funding for Web3 founders that we support. And in 3 months, we expect to have 8 women-led Web3 projects from Indonesia. It's stuck. Okay, I don't know what's happened. Yeah, okay, so the timeline. So we are here at her academy, and then we will launch in September, fingers crossed, and accept application for her launch. And December, hopefully, we already have the projects. These are the founders. Myself, I'm the founder of Girls in Tech Indonesia, and also Robomot NFT, the first NFT with remote workers utility. And then we also have Faye. Faye is basically the queen of Accelerator in Indonesia. And then we have Robert that's helping in technology, and Kanan as our CFO. We also have our mentors and advisors that you can access when you're with her. We have Lily Wu, co-founder of Wow Pixies, Grace, the co-founder of Untamed, it's Apex Web3 community. We have from VC side, Afina, and then also Binici is helping us. Thank you so much. And we have also Pandu, very, very experienced in blockchain. And Irzan is from Gaspack NFT Launchpad. He basically, his company and him successfully helped at least 6 Indonesian projects to mint out, basically. And Nanda from the CMO of Toko Crypto, the biggest exchange in Indonesia, and Toko Crypto actually already shown support for her. So we are very grateful. So if one of you right here are also have a lot of experience, you can apply to be our mentors and advisors as well. And if you know sponsor or investors for her programs, we would like an introduction. And if you are a female founder who are curious, or aspiring female founder who are curious about Web3 space, you can join us in our group. We will send you an invitation to join our private Telegram. And for now, you can watch our updates on Twitter at her Accelerator. So this is our email, we@connecther.digital, and we are looking forward to connect with you more. So tonight, I invited my very, very good friend, Binici, to share to you all how she started her journey, because I think it was really, for me, very inspiring to see her really starting it from zero, from gathering angel investors from all around the world to now running it at this point. And then maybe Binici can also share more about the progress at this point, right, for her startup. Okay, so back to Ajeng. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Balia, for your kind, very complete explanation about Web3, especially how women could take a role in this kind of industry, how this her accelerator could play a role in this development of women in Web3 industry. So hopefully for all of you guys who have been interested in this Web3 industry could join to be part of her accelerator and give more impact, especially for women, women role in this industry, especially in Indonesia or outside Indonesia. Well, without further ado, let's hear some discussion. The presentation that will be discussed, well, that will be brought by Safer Binici as the founder and CEO of RCM Labs. And here we have Binici here. Hello, Binici.
Hi. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. Let me quickly share my screen and let me start the presentation.
Sure. The time and place are yours.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. So super excited to be here with you guys today. And I think this her accelerator is like that these kind of communities are needed in every country. I 100% agree with Leah that this is just a boys club. You know, that's why I think the sort of like the growth of this technology has been just focusing on financial part, you know, like the 10x, 100x to the moon, you know. So I think we need to bring more women, female energy to the space so that we can really focus on more foundational use cases that we can use, we can identify actually. So when Leah asked me to talk with you guys today, I was really excited because I love talking to other female entrepreneurs, and I planned this talk around, you know, this is my third startup, so I have been around in the startup world quite a while, and I first wanted to kind of like share with you how I started to plan or like explore starting a company in this space, and then I will tell you how I did it, and then I will give you an update about RCM Labs. Okay, so so based on like what we were just discussing, I think what we are doing at RCM Labs is basically we want to move beyond the grinding in Web3. You know, for instance, like play and earn is just grinding, right? So it's just like how much you earn, you grind, you earn. So we believe that there are more opportunities moving beyond the grinding in Web3. That's all about. That's what Red Cat Multiverse is all about. So I want to start with this graph. Carlota Perez is somebody that I worked briefly with. She's a science and technology historian. So she basically goes back to 250 years ago, and she analyzed all these different technology movements. So she identified 5 different movements, and in all those different movements, she noticed the same trend, basically, right? So every technology was starting like a very small, right? And then, so there are 2 phases. There's an installation phase, there's a deployment period, right? In the installation, so there is this like, you know, like these are sort of like most of the time some geeks, you know, not many people know about this technology. So that's kind of like the eruption phase. And then right after eruption, you have like this small frenzy. And then you get this turning point. So you have like the bear market and stuff like that, and then you get the synergy, maturity, and this period is called deployment period. So how this is relating to Web3 and metaverse? Actually, when we are talking about the Web3, it's about metaverse. You know, metaverse is the next version of internet, and Web3 is part of a group of technologies that are going to empower metaverse. So if you let's just focus on Web3 right now. Let's talk about web, the internet, the current internet we know, right? So the current internet, if you think about it, it started around like the first initial applications started to came around early 1990s. Right. In the second half of the 1990s, there was this kind of like a crazy period where everybody was starting different kind of like a very unrealistic startups even, right? And then we had like this .com boom in 2000. And then the institutions, corporations started to use the internet. So if you really think back about it, in this part of the current internet, the financing came from venture capital, right? Installation phase. The financing comes from basically from financial resources. Whereas in the deployment period, the financing comes from the corporations, because here the technology is cooked, ready to be used, right? And then you come here and it's deployed for all these corporate use cases. So in terms of Web3, where are we? So we are actually right around here. Maybe we are just like, maybe we are getting close to here, maybe eruption, right? So so I think this is so kind of like like 1994, like when the Netscape came about, right? There is no really a great Web3 based company right now. If you think about it, FTX is a Web2 company, Binance is a Web2 company. Those are not decentralized companies. So super early on. And if you are really a technology passionate person, this is a great place to get involved, So I think that's why I think this is a great place to start working and thinking about this place, actually. So, yeah. So like, let's say you identified you want to be in the Web3 space, right? Now what you need to think about is the sort of like, if you can create a team, right? Because startup is all about growth. This equation is from Paul Graham, who is the founder of YC Combinator. So, I mean, if you are not growing, there is no, like, you don't need to be existing, right? So it's all about growth. So, and the growth comes from this dedicated work, right? Dedicated, continuously collaborative work. So I always think of this as a like in animal world, right? The lions, they have their pride to tackle with these big animals, right? They don't go by themselves, but they go as like a pride. So I think as soon as you identify the space and the timing that you want to go after, you want to be able to, you want to start thinking about your pride. Can you create that pride? What is that pride going to look like for you, right? So this is as important as the timing, as well as the technology that you want to be part of, right? Because teams, especially early on, teams are extremely critical. So when I started doing this, right? So I knew that I want to be in. And I've been among the founding team members at Algorand. So I was actually like trying to really understand the pain points that nobody was paying attention to, right? So I wasn't going to do any other like a layer one solution. And for a while, actually, before starting RCM Labs, we actually, with a couple of colleagues from MIT, we started to work. We explored some other model, but we realized that it wasn't going to be sustainable. So this was basically the sort of like you want to identify the major pain point, right? That nobody's paying attention to. And then I think like the first thing one needs to do is that if there are any other teams that are working on this, I think it should not be about like if I should start a startup or not, right? If there's a startup already that is really run well with a great team, right? I would just join that team, right? But if there's nothing, in my case, there was nobody working on like education, learning and development and games, right? So I had to start my own, right? So I think this is very important as you guys start like exploring, getting into this space. I'm really excited. You should all get into this space, but make sure you are identifying the right space, right topic, as well as the right team. That's also very important. So I'm a technologist, right? I studied physics and math. I'm a physics and math teacher by training from undergrad, but then I became I didn't work as a teacher, but I became a software engineer. I have a degree in engineering, and then I was a management consultant. And then I became an entrepreneur. Like my first company was in early 2010s. And I was actually like one of the initial, we were actually working on one of the initial projects that was really providing healthy, natural lifestyle products to people. And that brand actually became a graduate thesis at MIT because it was such an innovative idea back then. And then I started my second company in Netherlands, actually, with the former dean of MIT Sloan School. And then, I wasn't going to start any other startups. That was my decision, actually. But then, like, when the Web3 happened, I was just like super excited about it. So I thought I had to find something to do here, right? So I joined Algorand, right? So in 2018, I joined Silvio Micali when he was just starting the startup. And then I was also working with another group in Stanford about like 21st century needs, games, right, learning. And so like sometimes things happen and then you find yourself in your perfect place. So in terms of like logistics, I work in the US. I never worked in Turkey, but I'm Turkish American, so I'm currently in Turkey. Yeah, like I think this is already I shared with you guys. So I was part of the Algorand founding. So like as soon as I figured out that I wanted to do something in the Web3 space, I joined Algorand like right after that, right? Algorand was super, like they were just starting, so it was a great learning experience for me. And then we had this really great understanding of the space through this Stanford University undergrad research project that we were doing. And so the need that what we identified in 2019 at Stanford was that, these Gen Z, they were, getting this like a top levels education at Stanford, but when they went to the interviews, they were always asked about soft skills, like their critical thinking, negotiation, conflict resolution, these kind of skills. And so they were like, nobody teaches us these skills, right? The school curriculum doesn't have these skills. So there was definitely a need for that to teach those skills. So back then in 2019, basically, we didn't see a differentiated solution to bring these skills to the market, because I mean, you don't want to do another like a YouTube, like a video instructions to teach soft skills. I'm a teacher, and I know that I was a TA at MIT, Harvard, so I didn't work as a teacher, but I've been always involved in teaching. So I know for sure that like people learn in games much better, because your quality of your thinking is much higher if you are ready to act, right? The game environment provides you that. So you have like series of problems and you are always ready to act. And especially for skills like soft skills, you need to immerse yourself in an environment so that you can really sort of digest them, you know. So basically the need that we discovered back then was that more effective and deeper learning with games. There's a lot of research from MIT and Stanford about using games in education. And when I was in my early 20s, like in my 90s, when I was like 19, actually, when I was teaching math classes to younger children, right? So I would use games actually to teach math, to teach physics even, right? So basically this was the idea, and then COVID happened, and then last year, you know, blockchain gaming, play to earn, became like such a big hot topic, but it was like mostly about grinding. So we basically, you know, came up with a differentiated model that is going to motivate people intrinsically and extrinsically so that they really learn, right? So that's sort of like how we came up with the idea for RCM Labs. And yeah, like I think one of the biggest challenges with any other startup, really structuring a great high-class performance team. Especially we are a remote team, so we need to make sure that we have really good processes in place so that everybody is dedicated as they claim so. So what is Red Cat Multiverse? Red Cat Multiverse is basically a factory of possibilities, right? So we are building this multiverse that will have different universes that are focusing on different topics, right? So we are starting with soft skills because soft skills are low-hanging fruit. So we are going to, our public will have critical thinking, negotiation. So these two different universes where people can go and test themselves and really build these skills. And if they like, they can get NFT-based certificates. And so far, we have received interest from a global bank in Europe, technology companies in Silicon Valley. So there's a lot of interest for employers actually to come and help train their employees in the Red Cat Multiverse. As you know, upskilling and reskilling is the hottest topic right now, right? So we all need to kind of like renew ourselves. So that's the opportunity we are going after. So we are the first company in the world that's working on the play, learn, and earn model. I'm going to let you guys read this. So basically, we believe that in 21st century, skills are going to become renewable resources. We need to keep learning. So that's why like a game-based environment where you can have fun, you can socialize with others, you are intrinsically and extrinsically motivated, empowered, is a platform that people would want to come back and build their skills. And also we don't want people to wait for their employers to educate them, train them, right? This is going to be empowering people for their own future as well. Okay, so when I was starting, So when I was starting the project, you always need, like, as I was telling you guys, right? Like the team is super important. So these two guys were my two key team members, right? So when you are talking about a game, like the Red Cat Multiverse is for adults, not for children, right? So we need to first build a super engaging game. So how do you do that? You need to find somebody who has done that before, who has experience in that before. So Matthew, our creative director, is a former creative director at League of Legends. And if you are into the games, you would know like League of Legends is one of the top, maybe the top game in the world, actually, top earning game. And the second challenge was the blockchain games. If you include the coins and tokens to the games, blockchain games have serious economic problems, right? So how do we create an economy that is going to empower the user, the player, right? So this was another problem for us. And Mohammed is from MIT. He's a game theory professor at MIT. And he's our chief economist. We cannot say that in our website because MIT gets angry, but he's our chief economist. So he's planning the whole economy of the game economy, tokenomics as well. But we are not talking about tokenomics yet because we want to first establish the game economics, then we will release our tokenomics. So these two guys really kind of like gave me an made me, they provided me, they made me hopeful that I can create that pride that I was talking earlier. So if we go back, the problem is basically, since industrial revolution, the education mostly focused on technical skills. And but there's a lot of research that shows that the main success in the workplace comes from the soft skills. And 21st century now with the AI and robotics and everything, so everything, like every kind of job is going to be taken care of by technology. So people need to become more people, more humane. So soft skills, basically human skills, right? We call soft skills in Red Cat Multiverse power skills because we believe they provide you power, empower you. So to solve this problem, we are building the Red Cat Multiverse that is going to continuously supply new talent. And play, learn, and earn model is we are the first team that is working on this. Basically, the learn aspect of the model provides intrinsic motivation. You can think of this as like when you go to college, you only have the intrinsic motivation. You learn things, right? You don't there's no, hardly any extrinsic motivation. You wait to finish the college to get paid and get the extrinsic motivation. So here in Red Cat Multiverse, we have both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation together, right? So this was sort of like the more about like how you start and how I started, but now I'm going to provide just some updates about the game, and then we can kind of continue with questions and answers perhaps. So Red Cat Multiverse is a live game. So we are starting to provide our own universes at the end of this year, early next year. And actually, we are going to be working with an Indonesia-based studio to co-develop our game. So I'm really excited about that too. And it's a platform, right? So there will be other companies, businesses, enterprises coming and building their universes within the Red Cat Multiverse to provide training and for their company, for their employees. So this is the part that you can read. This is the fun part. So we have almost more than 100 characters already developed. So this is an infinite universe where anything and everything is possible. But there is something going wrong, really seriously something going wrong. And there is this entity called Sonora. Sonora is this red cat, but she doesn't even know why she's a red cat. She's from this higher dimension. And so she's basically going to unite everybody so that the future is better. So this is sort of like the idea. So basically Sonora is going to train people. So in the game, there are a lot of you will be interacting with Socrates, for instance, Plato, like all these in critical thinking, for instance, right? So all these non-player figures to train you, mentor you. And so we have more than 100 characters already developed in 6 to 7 months. And so this is our cosmic culinarian. So he cooks and eats everything. He's on our website. You guys can go and read about him. There's always like a fiction about each character. And this is our dragon of wisdom. Very wise guy as a dragon. And this is the most recent character we released. This is from the Caribbean. She's priestess of the sea. So this is Mr. Wells. But so I want to talk about our community as well. So we have about 6,000 people in our Discord, Twitter total, right? What we are doing, I mean, play, learn, and earn, that we are the first team working on that right now. But beyond that, we are doing a couple of other interesting stuff that maybe not many people are working on, right? So we want to, one of the things that I'm really most excited about is that we have been co-building the multiverse with our community. We have provided, one of our first projects was called Meerkat Bags. We started our development in December, and these Meerkat Bag NFTs were developed, were released in February, right? So each month, the hyper social community members get a rare Meerkat Bag NFT bag, right? These Meerkat Bag NFTs have creative prompts that you can build characters based on those creative prompts. And then when the game starts later this year, you get royalties from those characters that you built. So this is how we are co-building the multiverse with our own community. Already like 114 of them gone, right? They are on chain, they are rare. So they're every month we have different cohorts. So like next week, we will have the 6th cohort of Meerkat Bags minted. And then in September, we believe this is a game, you know, in the original, like in the middle, there's a game, but it's a very complex ecosystem that we are building. There are, if you look at our website, we have, you know, like a learning and development people, we have economists, and so we are basically trying to grow this ecosystem and the community around the project. So in September, we are going to release Inception NFT collection, and this is basically to help basically invite people to our private beta cohort. And we will provide a lot of game perks to these people. So this is our Meerkat Bag NFTs. These are the 4 creative prompts you get when you mint this NFT. So based on these 4 prompts, you create a character in the game, in the multiverse, and this character really helps players to train on critical thinking, you know, negotiation. So there's going to be different kind of transactions. So you will get royalties from those transactions. And these, to be able to receive eligible for these NFTs, you just need to join our Discord and then kind of be active there. There are some rules, but it's sort of like the way to receive them. And Inception NFT collection, this is really exciting. So this is basically the minting event is planned for September. And so it's a nesting doll, right? So when you hold 1 Inception NFT, you will receive 6 free NFTs, like characters, game characters. And then free play cards, free game items. So like you see the list here, it's a very generous list here. And Inception NFT holders are going to be the only ones that are eligible for the private beta also. So this is a great way to really come and help join the sort of like become one of the early adopters of the project. And yeah, our collection is very rich as well. So the whole collection actually is the size of the collection is more than 800 million different combinations. So we are going to release only 8,800 or so. Yeah, so this is sort of my presentation. Thank you for listening. So our website is at redcatmultiverse.io. Please visit and join our community. Follow us on Twitter. And we have 5,000 to 6,000 people already in those different platforms. And we have a Red Cat Multiverse community wiki where the community maintains our content. So we have a Bahasa wiki as well. So if you go to wiki.redcatmultiverse.io, you will see our content in Bahasa also. And yeah, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is very easy, spk@rcmlabs.io. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so let's just moving on to discussion.
Sure.
Yeah, so yeah, I will invite Faye as well. So 3 of us can speak. Yeah. So the community manager of Red Cat Multiverse is from Indonesia, yeah?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a very new space for everyone, especially in Indonesia as well. And you mentioned Algorand, right? You mentioned Algorand and how you started from there. And I guess I want to ask you the question about how do you have the confidence, like getting into a new space, especially becoming a founder, right? But then, I mean, talking about before when you were with Algorand, how do you know that, oh, I can do this and let me join Algorand, for example? Can you elaborate?
Sure.
For everyone here, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess you need to be a little bit crazy. I'm a little bit crazy. So I'm an engineer, right? I studied physics, maths, engineering, and I was a software engineer. And then, and then I started a personal care company in 2010, right? So I'm not afraid to take risks. I think that's how you can grow. So if you are looking into becoming an entrepreneur, you just need to be brave, right? You need to be brave. It's hard to say. You cannot really find out about these industries and not know about them. There's so much conversations around, right? Join these kind of topics that learn from other founders. But I think it's always good to kind of get your toes wet in some other project, perhaps, right? But if that project is great, if they have a great team and if the progress is great, just stay with them. Because if you think about it, think about the initial team members at Google, initial team members at Microsoft, they have accomplished a lot, not only financially, but also from other points in life, right? So I think, if you cannot find what you are looking for, then go ahead and start. But you are like that, Leah, right? What I'm talking about. You just need to be a little bit crazy.
Yeah, the crazy time when you come to me and said, hey, I'm starting this, do you wanna join me? Okay. I know nothing. But yeah, so yeah, learning along the way, right? So I guess one more question from me before we go to Faye. Maybe you have a question, Faye. You said that we need a team, right, to build the project, for sure. How do you, first, how do you find them? And then the second, how do you convince them to join you, basically?
Oh, yeah. That's the tough part, right? So we were actually, Mohammed, the guy from MIT in my deck, and I actually we were exploring another opportunity in the space. And we stopped doing that in last year in July. And I had this research sitting on my table. And then I started to structure this project, right? And then you know, it's all about storytelling, that those initial people. So I already had like Mohammed as my advisor and business partner, right? He's a partner in RCM Labs as well. So so he was there, and then, but I think the biggest struggle that I had was that because our argument was that we were going to build a game that's not an educational game. We are going to build a serious game that will teach people. People don't do this, you know. Usually, if you look at the educational games, they are super boring, right? Because they do it wrong, in a wrong way. So like, but how do you do this? Like, how do you find the right person to build this, right? So I basically, for that, like, I don't come from a gaming ecosystem either, so I don't know people in the gaming environment. So basically, I started to reach out. Like, ArtStation became my, like, I don't know if you guys know, but like, I found out about this website called ArtStation. So I really studied like every artist that I can find, every game developer that I can find, and then I just started to reach out to people, and that's how I met with Matthew, actually. And once he was on board, then like we started to, you know, grow, actually, like really fast. We had, but to your point, I also consider the initial investors as the team members as well. I think this is very important, especially in the Web3, because in the Web1 and Web2, you were kind of doing, as a tech startup, you were doing your job isolated in a garage, right? Whereas in Web3, like before even a product, you need to have a community, right? You need to be interacting with that community. So, and then how do you create a community? You need to have different, like a global team already who can help you reach out to different corners of the world. So that's why, like, I'm, you know, we could have done a very easy funding, but we basically did, like, we took our time. We spent like 6 months actually, right? But we have 26 investors from Asia, you know, from Africa, from US, from Latin America, from Europe. So in every corner of the world, we have people. And now I'm in touch with these people on a monthly basis, right? So I provide updates, and everybody comes back to me, you know, with ideas and things like that. So this is great, actually, you know. This is sort of like, this is like, investors are part of the community as well, right? We are part of this RCM Labs Red Cat Multiverse community. So it's important to have a good strategy around how you pick your investors and how you work with them as well.
Yeah, Faye, maybe you have questions.
I'm just wondering, so when you started, because you highlighted, we all talked about how lonely actually the journey was, that you need to be a little bit crazy to take that path. There was not really a support system. You even was not coming from the gaming ecosystem, you said, you know, so it was actually pretty hard to start and to build, to be connected. Even you have to reach out a lot. So if you could turn back the time and you could have like all the resources in one, you can have this magic wand, you know, what do you think it would be nice to have, for example, because this is actually also what we want to create, you know, the safe space for women to be able to say, yes, I can start, you know, and no question is dumb enough, is dumb, you know, and then everybody is learning. So we also try to accommodate different layers of the audience. So, and for you, so you already started, right? Successfully taking that path. But if you could turn back the time, what do you wish you had at that time, actually?
I mean, like, I wouldn't really change my experience because it was such a teaching, you know, like yeah. it kind of like really made me more, I think got me smarter at this point. Seriously, you know, all these experiences, right? But I think like you know, like the accelerator program that you guys are working on, right? These
but,
kind of
but you're a MIT professor. How can you be smarter?
You constantly do that, actually. So I mean, you could basically, like, these kind of networks would really be helpful, you know. Even then, like, I remember when I reached out to Leah, like she told me she had like 15 minutes or so that particular day. I reached out to her, and I remember like we ended up talking like an hour, because I had like so much to say, you know. Like, it's such a lonely journey. You want to connect with people, like, as like-minded people. So I think these kind of networks are important.
Network, right? And then, like you said, you know, it seemed hard at that time, but you glad you did it, like to reach out, and then suddenly one door led to the other, right? So that's
Yeah,
that whole experience.
yeah. I mean,
like Leah
if you-
said, you know,
Yeah.
you're an MIT professor, so you actually already got certain capital. We really want, so Indonesia is also actually we care so much about access, because of, I'm pretty sure probably in Turkey it's the same. We have like segregated class, different opportunities, level of educations, proximity to infrastructures. We know we have like a lot of islands separated by oceans. So all of this actually, Web3 and then online and digital world can give us access to reach out, you know, to women specifically who would like to start something.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, it's the same like in here. And I think, like, overall, you know, I think it's kind of like a global phenomenon. I mean, if you look at where Web2 got us, you know, so it's kind of like that whole thing is global, but in some countries it's felt more. I would say I never worked in Turkey, actually, so I would think it would be the same in Turkey too.
Yeah.